and it's 135 miles, 15,000 feet of climbing. So up till last year, that was my longest bike ride.
How much feet of climbing did you say?
15,000. And we do that in a day.
Oh my God.
We start
It's,
right when the sun comes
how
up.
many hours is that?
It's usually, total time is usually about 13, 14 hours. We stop for lunch in Downeyville. And it's a great day. Introductions. My name is Sena Minshew. Triathlete, fur baby mom, wife. What else? Full-time job.
Full time. So have you always worked in IT, or is it something that you've been in and out of, or are you currently working in IT?
Always worked in IT. Now I'm not, though. My dad worked in telecommunications for the state, so IT was always a thing in our household. So it felt very comfortable to be, in that field of work. And I call myself a control freak, self-proclaimed control freak. So project management fits me very well. So I'm a project manager in IT, and then in April, I left IT and went to electric operations.
So with IT, was there a specific specific area, or is it like broad, covers like a lot of different things, security?
Yes. So for the last 15 years in IT, it's been pretty broad. So we would do corporate real estate projects where we're wiring out desks, setting up Wi-Fi, setting up the network, printers, that kind of thing, to microwave. So that's, up at the mountaintops. I always try to break down microwave to to people, but it's basically, the point-to-point network shots. So that was always really interesting work to me, because that's what Dad, we'd go up to mountaintops, Mount Baca, and excellent, beautiful views, and the drive up there was wonderful. Fiber, just all kinds of IT. So it wasn't really focused.
Do you kind of stay up to date with that, or because it's always changing and it's rapidly evolving, right? Like Starlink, right? Is that like the number one
It's
satellite, right?
Definitely an option right now. Yes, it's a very interesting option. So I think I'm on the edge of the technology as a project manager. I definitely have the resources on my team to lean on as far as the technical details, and you end up picking up through managing a project, you end up picking up a lot of the technical information.
I mean, I'm a fan because I remember when I was married, I'm divorced now. We bought a home over by Arroyo Ranchero, kind of going out towards Sutter. And there's it was a newer development. It was like 2008. There was no internet. And we had to get, I don't know, Blue Sky or some kind of satellite. It was the worst thing ever. Right. I don't know how anybody would use that, right? And now I see Starlink, and it's not 100% yet, but I think in 5 years it's going to advance pretty quickly. And I'm all for I love technology and just how people can communicate, just like, right?
Absolutely, yes.
Your Yuba Sutter Tri Club. Did you start it? Was it just you? And
I did. Well, there were three local guys, Chris Bridges, Tim Mallon, and Bobby Cooper.
Mm-hmm.
They originally got the name. They were training together, doing Ironman races. And I met Tim, Bobby, and Chris in 2011.
Wow.
One of my friends said she wanted to run a 10K in San Francisco. And I'm like, sure, we can train up for a 10K. I was not a runner by any means. I came into triathlon as a cyclist. So running a 10K was going to be a big deal for us. And my best friend at the time, also my next door neighbor, her boyfriend worked with Chris Bridges. So he's telling us we need to meet up with these guys because they run at the track. Yuba
Same
City
one?
High School
Okay.
in River Valley. They'd alternate Tuesdays and Thursdays. And so we go out there, and that's where we all met, and they already had the name for the club. We talked about setting up a board. We got the board set up and started taking memberships in January of 2012.
Nice. And now, I mean, it must be huge, right? How many different people have come and gone and been part of it?
It's been a really great group to be involved in. With we get a lot of folks from Beale Air Force Base through as they're stationed at the base, and they want to get involved in the community, and so I've got a lot of great friendships out of that, and just the knowledge of folks that come through, and it's a community. We get together, we share ideas, we train together, because everybody knows it. It sucks to go out to train by yourself, and but once you do that with like when we go to the track, and you're running together, and we always suffer together, makes it a funner experience.
Yeah, you know what? It makes such a huge difference when you're around people because they push you, right?
Yes.
Like, I remember starting with you guys, I don't know, what was it? Beginning of September. I don't know if it was end of August. I don't remember exactly the details. And these women, her and two other, they would lap me. And I remember thinking, oh my God, I can't believe how slow I am, And, but I could notice, because I would wear a heart rate monitor, I would notice I was getting faster, every week. And then, of course, I stopped. And, the rubber track makes a huge difference, even though you have the shoes and everything. I think just pounding on the cement, it takes a toll on you, right?
Absolutely. Running is so hard on the body. Yeah. So you definitely need to, I did Ironman on the 23rd of October, and I'm not going to run, and probably won't run for another 2 weeks, but and then it'll be really easy getting back in. But yeah, that surface of the track, it makes a huge difference for you.
Do you do any have you had any injuries from triathlons, biking, and everything, like surgeries or anything like that?
Surgeries? No, I don't think. But I've definitely, experienced some injuries. Mm-hmm. Pulled a hamstring one year. Had some feet issues one year.
Feet issues, what's it called? Jesus, on the bottom of your feet.
Oh, plantar fasciitis.
Is that what you're referring to?
I don't think so. No,
Okay.
it was like a pain right in the middle, like the third toe. It was right in the middle of my foot. Yeah, it was just awful.
How did you just taking time off or icing it? What did you do to?
Yeah, definitely. I worked with a guy. I don't know. He's in town. He's a trainer in town. Great guy. Can we drop names on here?
Yeah, of course. I mean, because you know why people are super hesitant, because they're going to get fired about saying something that they're not supposed to say,
no.
right?
No,
you're free to go.
Stuff.
Yeah. No, because to me, it's all about helping small businesses or individuals, personal trainers, farmers. That's what the show's all about,
Right.
But yeah, of course.
So the trainer, his name's Walter Mack. Mm-hmm. Awesome guy. I was at my leanest working with Walter. He's right there on 5th Street, across from the old Greyhound station. And just a really fun guy to work out with. Very small workout room, but he always had this different workout that we were doing, and it was, like a circuit training. You'd go around and kind of time-based, hard workout.
And that fixed it right away? I
kind of went off on a tangent there. But that's when I pulled my hamstring. Mm-hmm. And so I come in, I'm like, Coach, I hurt my hamstring. What do I do? He's like, you got to rest for a week, at least a week. I'm like, okay, well, can I walk? He's like, does that use your hamstring? Yes. He's like, okay, no walking. can I do yoga? He says, does that use your hamstring? It's so funny. I got the point that rest is actually, resting it completely. And so I did, I a whole week. And, it's really hard for, when you're training up for something, to take a week off, and just
So have you always
rest.
been so active? Like, because it feels like the older we get, right? Like little weird things happen. Like you go, Jesus, how is that even possible? Like for me recently, I went to Chelsea lately over at the Hard Rock. Do you know who Chelsea Handler is? She's a
Yes.
comedian. And it was an interesting story going there. But on the way out, I was just walking really fast to get out of there. And I strained my damn calf. And I've never done that. Like I literally had to hobble to the car. And it hurt like all week. And I was just like, Jesus. But I mean, thank God for now. There's kettlebells, there's battle ropes, there's a bunch of other things that you can do to elevate your heart rate. Try sauna. Have you ever used sauna to?
Oh, yes. Yes. For heat acclimation.
Yeah.
Yeah. But as far as the injury goes, I think it depends on the injury as to what to do for it. Like I tweaked my back this week, and I have a torn disc, so it's there. I tweak my back kind of regularly, not so regularly, but and it's usually something innocuous, like putting on my pants or something. but yeah, so I tweak my back, so it's always my lower right. And so it kind of threw me off my game this week. But, I hit the chiropractor. And usually if I stay on top of the chiropractor and some massage, I can usually ward that off, keeping everything aligned and worked out. But so, yeah, I hit the chiropractor a bunch this week. And then in this case, ice is a good technique to bring blood flow to the area. And then if it feels kind of stiff, I'll put some heat on it to kind of loosen things up. And I know that one, just in a week, I'm going to be fine. When I was dealing with a hamstring and my foot, that was kind of a different situation. But I've done a lot of physical therapy, which we've got some great physical therapists in the area that I've worked with. So that was always helpful, getting through the injuries.
Have you tried cold plunges?
Yeah. One of our, the Racket Club used to be a sponsor of the Tri
That's
Club.
right. I forget that they have that little pool
They
there.
have a wonderful cold plunge. We used to meet there, do a warm up, and then do our long runs, and then come back and cool down and hop into the cold plunge.
Yeah, I completely forgot that they had that there. Yeah, you can make your own
I
with
kinda
like.
want one.
Yeah, I know. Have you seen those on like YouTube where they put
Ice barrels?
ice barrels? But I've seen somebody use like a freezer, right? You see those long, like that you can buy them at Sam's Club and they open up, right? So they're kind of like the length of your body, and I think the guy just cocked it, right? So
Right.
you know how whatever that cock that you put in your bathtub or whatever, that's all he did, and then you would see the ice frozen. He'd just break it up and jump in there.
Good.
I know it's already cold, right?
Exactly.
But yeah, what is it, like 5 minutes? I think. I don't think you're supposed to go longer than that.
Yeah, I don't think so. Yeah, it's kind of just I think we used to do 30, 30. So we do 30 seconds in the cold plunge and 30 in the hot tub. Do a couple rotations of that.
So do you have like any kind of like preventative mobility work that kind of helps you? Like, I don't know about, you said you tore a disc. Do you know how or how long that's been there?
Let's see. It's been about 21 years now. I did
Really?
playing volleyball.
Wow.
Yeah. Tore it. It's an annular tear. I'm trying to remember all the details about it. But yeah, we've just did physical therapy for that, and just been keeping an eye on it.
Do you have like, because I've always noticed, like when I've run, like I think it's my left arm falls asleep.
Oh, really?
And I always wonder what the hell. And it just depends really, because I'm kind of I don't know, if there's a way you're supposed to run. But I remember when I used to play football, we had like a speed coach, and he'd always say chin to cheek to run fast, right? If you're
Right.
sprinting. But I kind of feel like I'm always doing that, and I don't know if that is causing it. But then if I leave my arm straight for a little bit, it goes away.
Are you making a fist?
Maybe you're right. Maybe I am. I don't know. I like to think I'm doing this, right?
Yeah.
But not a full fist, but just kind of.
Maybe, yeah, maybe. Just
But
a little
maybe
too
you're right.
flex.
Maybe I should see if I am making a fist.
Somebody told me at one point, and I always think of that. Just think like you're holding potato chips. Mm-hmm. So you don't want to bust the potato chips, right? You just kind of like a light grip on some potato chips.
But you know how they say if one of your nerves or something's wrong, then you get a pain in some. It's not really a pain. It just kind of numbs
yeah.
up my arm. But
Everything's connected everywhere. It's so crazy. Something could, like, where you get the pain is probably not where the problem is. It's weird.
yeah, like shin splints, right? I was reading that it's your core that's too weak
Oh,
from
wow.
shin splint. Part of it, your hips and your core. So that kind of makes sense if you're, because I've always kind of trained heavier, and I think the older I get, the more you get like little things here and there, and I don't want to lift heavy no more because I've just seen too many people get hurt.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, the
And
perfect form.
yeah, but what's helped me recently has been a lot of kettlebell work. Just it's weird how like these odd movements like completely. I think they help all your stabilizer muscles, right? I don't know if you use kettlebells or not, but
I do.
there's a guy on Instagram who does like these different twists and things that you've like never seen, and I've kind of started doing it, and it feels different, but like I feel like it when I go to a compound lift, I'm a lot stronger and there's no pain.
All those functional movements to, get all the connective and stabilizer stuff strong. Yeah, I agree.
What do you kind of do to do you do anything for like injury prevention, yoga?
I got away from yoga. I was doing yoga for a while, but I did get away from it. I'd like to get back. It's definitely good. I mean, that's a hard workout. Definitely.
I've never done yoga, but
Oh.
I used to think it was
Right. Yeah.
it
you're
wasn't
just, like,
good for you,
stretching.
but then it makes sense. Like, right? If you're doing something, you're compressing certain joints and you're compounding certain muscles, so you need to kind of relieve them, right, and get that balance.
Right. Stretch and lengthen. Mm-hmm.
So I noticed you this year. I think you biked like 200 miles. Where were you? Up in like Lake County or something? Did you go all the way to Santa Rosa?
Well, I did 3 double centuries this year and last year. Last year was my first experience with the double centuries.
Last year?
Yeah. The furthest I'd gone prior to that was our Tahoe ride, the Yuba Sutter Tri Club Tahoe ride that is every year in June. We ride from Marysville to North Shore, Tahoe. And it's 135 miles, 15,000 feet of climbing. So up till last year, that was my longest bike ride.
How much feet of climbing did you say?
15,000. And we do that in a day.
Oh my God.
We start right when the sun comes
How
up.
many hours is that?
It's usually, total time is usually about 13, 14 hours. We stop for lunch in Downeyville, and it's a great day. The Yuba Sutter Tri Club Tahoe ride that is every year in June. We ride from Marysville to North Shore, Tahoe. And it's 135 miles, 15,000 feet of climbing. So up till last year, that was my longest bike ride.
How much feet of climbing did you say?
15,000. And we do that in a day.
Oh my God.
We start right when the sun comes
How
up.
many hours is that?
It's usually, total time is usually about 13, 14 hours. We stop for lunch in Downeyville, and it's a great day. Okay, it's double century. That was 120 something, 124 miles. And Bill rode it with us, and that's when he talked me into doing this double century. If you do one, he's saying you might as well do 2 more and get your California Triple Crown.
How do you prepare for that? That seems so painful. Like, just do you go somewhere to get fitted on your bike? Like, how do you kind of, because that's almost an all day thing, right? Like, do you have meals? What goes into preparing for like a double century?
Well, absolutely. Well, I would say as soon as you get a bike, I get fitted on it. You get the frame, the frame size that's going to fit you, and then there's all these adjustment points on bicycles. You can raise and lower the seat post. Your saddle can go forward and back. To get you closer or further away from the handlebars. And then there's a stem on your handlebars that can bring your handlebars up or down or out and in. So if you get the frame size of the bike close, then you can dial it in with all the other adjustments.
So you don't really go to one of those people who fit you, right? Because you've been doing it for so long, you know the feeling, right? Or the feel just by getting on there, what's off and what you need.
I still go to a professional fitter.
Okay,
and
good to know.
Yes, and I have a couple that I've worked with that I really like. And if anybody needs any recommendations, there's even a exercise physiologist that is also a bike fitter. So he knows the body.
Wow.
He can work around any injuries or issues that you have. He was really great to work with.
Who is he?
I'm drawing a blank on his name. He's up in El Dorado Hills.
Okay. Is he part of that bike? There's like a bike club up there? No?
He could be. He's a mountain biker. He's a cyclist. Drawing a complete blank on his name.
That's
right
okay.
now,
He'll come back to you.
Yeah, totally. But then my other professional fitter is Clay out of Ride Bicycle Service Center. Clay's fabulous. He's my most recent
In
fit.
Folsom?
Roseville.
Roseville, okay.
Right off of Sierra College in Douglas.
I'm close to there. I might have to stop in there. So when I started, like, one of the things that hurt me the most, even though I have those underwear, I don't know what you call them, that, have the butt protectors and everything, my butt would hurt so bad. Like, is that just normal? You just get used to it?
So there's a fair amount of like getting used to the saddle and sitting on a saddle. But that's where a fitter really helps out too, because so you've got, the 5 pressure points. You got both hands, both feet, and where you come in contact with the saddle, which is a pretty sensitive part of our body. So a bike fitter can help you balance out between those 5 pressure points to get in the most comfortable position as possible. But another key thing is more padding is not always better. Mm-hmm. It could be causing more discomfort or chafing or anything like that. So I found, having to test out how I felt with these riding shorts compared on this saddle compared to my tri shorts that I wear with my tri bike and that tri saddle, which is totally different than my road bike saddle. So it takes a little kind of testing out to see what works best. But then there's, you got to sit on your bike a little bit, and I always say you got to build up the calluses, but there's not really calluses.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. So do you think bikes make it? Because I remember when I bought my bike, I waited. I don't know if I got it in 2021, and I got the Specialized Roubaix. Am I saying it right? Because there's a race, right, in France where they're racing over the bricks.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Yes. And that's the whole reason. I was like, this has to make a difference. If they're riding on bricks, that's not going to be comfortable, right? So that's what went behind me, was like, okay, so if I ride through messed up roads or whatever, they're cracked. That's kind of regular. You're going to kind of feel almost everything, right? And do brands make a difference? Is Specialized the best? Does none of that really matter? Or is that more like mountain bikes?
No, I would say, there's a lot of great brands, mountain biking, road biking. And then within the brand, there's the different levels of bikes. Like just for my road bike, for example, is a Cervelo S3. So there's the S1, the S3, and the S5. So the S5 is like the super super light. All the components are crazy. High-end components, light. Everything's aero. Everything's tucked away. So I've got like the mid-range. So in every manufacturer, there's all the different ranges of bikes. You know, what's going to be more aero, what's going to be lighter or heavier, different builds. So, you know, the carbon bikes are going to be a little bit more stiff. So you're talking about cracked roads. You know, like we ride a lot of country roads out here, which may not, it might be chip seal or something like that, or the pavement's broken up a little bit. If you adjust your air pressure, it might give you a little bit better ride out on those roads. The air pressure in your tires, not so stiff.
I mean, I don't know if from riding you kind of get used to it, but then I think Specialized came up with this new saddle. It's not new anymore. I think it was last year. It was like a honeycomb 3D printed saddle. I don't know if you've seen that. And because of COVID, you know how you couldn't buy weights, you couldn't buy gym equipment, you couldn't buy anything. And anything that was like kind of new would get snatched up. And I remember getting an email like, hey, it's back in for sale. And I remember buying it. But then, I don't know, you know, I'm not 100% sure. Just, I felt like I put the seat up too high, or I rode it once, I think.
Oh, you got the saddle?
Yeah.
Is it cool?
I don't see, but that's the thing is I'm not sure because I think I rode like 20 miles the first time. And I'm always that kind of person where I always overdo it. But it's just like I force myself to, you know, walk or jog somewhere and you're forced to come back from that distance, right? And
exactly.
It's not really, I don't know if that's healthy or not, but it's just a feeling, right? After you come back and you just feel that pain or whatever you get through, it just makes your day better, right? Those endorphins you get from,
yes. Yeah.
From going, because even I've noticed even like weightlifting and everything, it's just not the same. Like when I ran with you guys there in Yuba City at those tracks, like at the end of those were like the best starts to my day. It was better than anything. Like it just made the day 100% better.
Right. Yeah.
And that's why I'm a huge advocate for like health and movement. And even though it sounds extreme, like everything that you do from biking up to that seems like impossible. But I've seen you guys like all do it. Would you do that every year?
I've done that one every year.
Really?
I might miss it this year because there's an event that I want to do in Sonoma. But it's such a great ride that, yeah, we did it every year. And that's a great one because the club has SAG cars that go with us. Mm-hmm. So you can do certain parts of it. You can start and see how far you want to go or see how far you can go. And there's that SAG car there just in case, you know, you want to take a break or something, get off the bike for a little bit.
So how many years have you done the Tahoe ride?
I think I did it 8 years.
8 years.
I missed the first year, and then 1 year I got off the bike in Downeyville and drove the SAG car.
Okay.
Yeah.
Were you injured? I mean, how do you mentally prepare for? Are you like the night before you over thinking about that whole thing, or is it just once you do it, does it get easier? Or
that one's always a tough ride. I mean, there's some really tough climbs in that, but again, it's with our Tri Club community, with friends. I always look forward to it. It's always an amazing, adventurous, epic day. You know, with great friends. So it's always one I look forward to. And knowing I can get in the car anytime.
Yeah.
It takes all the pressure off.
Yeah, that's true. That's 100% true. No, I remember, I think I saw Katya do it a couple years. I think she did like 70 miles or something. I was like, man, that's not something I ever wanted to do, but it just looks, just the view, the whole experience, it's something that you never think about, you know, because I remember, I never thought I wanted to run a marathon. I was like, people are crazy. Why would you even do that? Like, it made no sense to me. But now that I'm older, I don't know, there's accomplishing things that you just didn't think you're capable of. And you see people, you know, run ultra marathons like that one up there in Auburn. I don't know. Is that the Bigfoot, or I forget what it's called. I think that's in June or something, right? They run up to Tahoe and then they come back.
Don't they start in squaw and come down.
I think you're right. Yeah,
Western,
I think you're right.
Western states.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah, it's just insane. I've never run anything over a marathon.
No.
No, because I feel like when I came into triathlon, I came in as a cyclist and then had to learn how to swim and run. Because I used to tell everybody God did not build me to run.
Yeah.
Somebody was chasing me. but yeah, so learning how to swim and run. Maybe I've never 50K has always been interesting, but not interesting enough to do. So
Yeah, no, I would hear like, do you know who Cameron Haynes is? Or
yes,
I would hear his stories and David Goggins. And I don't know if have you seen David Goggins' feet? Just from because they're ultras, right? So your toenails come off.
oh my god,
And like recently he showed a video of his feet, and everyone just gave him so much backlash. And he's like, what do you expect? You know, like this isn't easy and it's supposed to be hard. And like his knees are like completely destroyed, or like, you know, they like take liquid out of his knees and stuff. But he doesn't stop. You know, I don't know if that's good or bad, right? Like to me, but I just know that I think you always have to push yourself, right? You always have to physically go past those limits.
right? Yeah, on those endurance events, your body's doing everything it can to make you stop. It's like this self-preservation. So to have the mental training to push past, what is my body telling me? Can I push past this, or is it am I going too far? And I'm getting myself into trouble. I feel like I have a pretty good self-preservation.
Even with those double century rides?
The double centuries aren't bad, you know. There's some great aid stations all the way through the bike ride. So you pop in, there's bathrooms, there's food, there's water and electrolytes, and as long as you're done, some of them are 17 hours, some of them are 20, some are 24. As long as you're done in that time frame, you're good. So I felt like there's always going to be a dark spot that you run into, or dark spots, at least once or several times through an endurance event like Ironman or the double centuries. But usually you just need like some chapstick or some sugar.
That's it, huh? See, when I say you make it sound so easy, you do. You make it. I mean, I don't know. To me, it's just the whole just conquering things that you don't think you're capable of, right? I don't know if you've ever heard of the Sir Roger Bannister effect.
No, I haven't.
So I believe he is the first guy to break the 5-minute mile, right? In like 1920 or something like that. Prior to that, science and doctors and everyone said that if you ran a sub 5 mile, your heart would explode, right?
Oh, wow.
And then he was the first one to do it. And then I think 5 or 7 people repeated that the same year.
Well, that's the crazy. Tell somebody if you do under a 5-minute mile, your heart's going to explode. That will keep people from doing it, right? Mm-hmm. That's a little negative speak.
But it's just like marathons, right? Isn't somebody from Kenya just broke like his own record or something? I don't know what the...
Kipchoge, I think is.
I'm not sure.
Name. But what he did at 2:02.
What's a normal marathon time kind of average?
Well, my fastest is a 3:52.
Okay.
So he, did it in half the time.
Wow. Yeah. You know what's funny is I don't know if it was a running company or something. They had like this huge treadmill that was probably like as wide as this room.
I've seen that.
Oh, you saw that?
Well, I've seen one. I don't know if it's the same one, but it looks cool.
But it was going as fast as he was running. So people were jumping on there, and it was big.
Flying off the back?
Well, I mean, it's huge, right? So it's from here to here, and it's probably like the length of the office, right? So it's soft, and and everyone was falling down, but they were like, Jesus, goodness. I can't believe how fast this is, like how fast he had to run. And it was just like an experience for everyone to feel what it feels like to run as fast as he did to accomplish that. It's
And
hilarious.
it's just beautiful run form. Yeah, I could watch him.
So you can watch somebody, you can see what's wrong with their form. Like, no,
No, I don't think
you could
so,
just,
but just
he
watch.
looks so fluid.
Oh yeah, it looks like it's effortless.
Yeah.
Looks like yeah, the mechanics just work perfectly. I don't look anything close when I run.
No, I hear you. I've never been a runner myself. I've always kind of weightlifting and years off. Like I remember I used to think I did it for vanity, and then I remember thinking, but I always feel so good after, right? Like it wasn't vanity; it was like a psychological state. Like it just made me feel better, and then adding running or adding more things, like it just makes it better for everything.
Did you do any of our
Nothing yet. No.
the run clinics with Dale? The fabulous Dale Collins from Beale Air Force Base. He's an exercise physiologist. So he would take us through run form.
Mm-hmm.
That's a really great. We should do another one of those because I think you would.
Never heard
really
about it.
get a lot of.
I think you guys were doing it like in a park or something, right?
Yeah, I think one time we did it at
And is it barefoot?
my house. I think he had us do a part of it barefoot,
Okay.
but most of it wasn't. The one that we did at Wheatland High School, I don't think we took off our shoes,
Okay.
or at my house. So he'll do some strength clinics with us, some stretching clinics, but we've done the run form clinic a couple of times, and I always get something out of it.
Yeah, no, I have a kind of weird schedule, like the family business. I've been there since 2017, and because of COVID, I was there 7 days a week for like 2 years straight. Like, I don't even believe I was there that long, but it was like a long
Crazy.
2 years. I know
Yeah.
it was, but that's kind of the reason I left. It was just too much, and I needed just some space because I really wasn't working on myself or working out, and I think being with you guys, running and stuff, like, it made me more consistent to do it, to run, to whatnot. But because I think I was like 290 when I was with you guys. And right now I'm like 260. And I'm thinking like 230 might be my ideal weight, maybe lower. I don't know. Because I've always kind of been a bigger person. But I want to run an ultra, maybe 50 miles. I don't know. Just things that I never imagined I could do. And, I'm just glad that groups like yours exist, and they're everywhere, but I'm excited that I love just seeing you and your group, just everything that you guys do, and it's super inspiring.
Oh, that's awesome. Yeah, having a group like this in our town is awesome, and so many members, all over, Plymouth Lake, Marysville, Yuba City, Oregon House up there, Katia up in Oregon House, and Jeff. Yeah, it's definitely an asset to this community to have the Tri Club and the Cycling Club. We've got some great clubs here.
Do you have everything planned, like prior, like the year coming up? Do you have your races that you want to do, or is that how does that plan out for you?
Well, it's been so weird the last 2 years, with we'd sign up for a race, it'd get canceled, so it's been up and down. So I'm actually, the plan for this year, I'm taking a break from all endurance sports, so all the long stuff, and I'm gonna get back to the gym, throwing some weights around, HIIT training. Been going over to Fit One with Beto. It's a great workout. It's always something different. Took my husband over there. He loved it, so we're gonna be doing that 3 to 4 times a week. And really building, I feel like all the endurance work that I've been doing, I just need to, I think I need to take a break from it, get back to the HIIT training, build back that lean body, lean muscle mass, and get strong again so I can go back at it.
Do you have a home gym? Do you have, and do you just not use it, or do you just prefer being in other groups, or?
I